my name is Diela and welcome to our 7th episode of my knitting podcast. Thank you so much to everyone who comes back every week and watches my video if you are a returning viewer, and thank you so much for trying out my podcast. I hope you enjoy it if you're a new viewer. So, today is the 12th of April. That means I only have 2 days left until I'm leaving for South Africa, so I'm very nervous and sort of in a bit of a flap. So yeah, just ignore it if I'm a bit all over the place, because I'm actually, usually I record my podcast on a Thursday and then I post them on a Friday so that I have the day to edit it and sort out anything. But this week I'm recording on Wednesday so that I have some extra time because I'm leaving on Friday, so I don't want to be rushing tomorrow trying to get everything sorted. Yeah. Although, I mean, I've got most everything sorted. I can't think of anything I don't have, but maybe. So, to let you know if you're new, I'm coming to you right now from Edinburgh in Scotland, where I have recently moved with my husband. Unfortunately, we don't have any pets, so instead I have one of my fluffy co-podcasters with me, and today it's actually Sheep. Koo got the most votes, and so Koo is my official co-podcaster, but Sheep is joining me today because Koo is busy preparing to leave and go to South Africa with me. So yes, I'm going to South Africa for anywhere between 2 months and 5 or 6 months, which is a little bit nerve-wracking for me, but yes, that's what's happening. So I'm not going back permanently, I'm just going back to sort out visa things and visit family and that sort of thing. So, also, good news, I have finally decided to bite the bullet and I've made a Ravelry group. So I will put a link into the down bar on the YouTube episode and also in my show notes, but if you just want to search it, it's just Needle Addict Podcast on Ravelry. So go ahead and join, and in the future I will be doing some awesome giveaways, so you'll need to join the Ravelry group to be eligible for the giveaways, because it's easier for me to sort things out like that, because I can lock the thread and stuff after a certain date, and it's just easier for admin's sake. So where you can find me other than the Ravelry group, I'm on Ravelry. My personal sort of account is Craft Needle Addict, and I'm also on Instagram as xupx, and you can also find the show notes on my blog, and there'll be a link in the description box. So, for my finished objects, I have one finished object this week, which is important because I'm now finished all of the gifts that I wanted to give in South Africa, except for my mother's and my father's. So I've spoken to them and they're very happy for me to make it while I'm there with them. So I have sort of made my deadline, and this is the lovely shawl. Here you can see the lovely mottled. It's all got stitch except for the eyelets in the middle. It's beautiful, all the blues. So this is the simple shawl pattern. I'll just put it on like this. Oops. This is the simple shawl pattern, which is by Jane Hunter, and it was supposed to be knit with a 3.75mm needle, but I only had 4mm, so as a circular needle, so I just used that instead, and I think it came out very nice. I'm very happy with how the fabric came out, so I don't think it would have been a problem. And I just love the mottled texture that it is. You can also wear it around your shoulders like this. It's very long, but I really like it. And in South Africa it's quite hot, so I didn't want it to be too big and sort of squishy, because yeah, it'd probably just be too hot to wear. Whereas this I think is nice for sort of an autumn or spring evening where it might be a bit chilly and you just want something to cover your shoulders or around your neck, but it's not too hot. So I'm really loving it, and it's got this beautiful little eyelet decoration up the middle, and I'm just very happy with how it turned out. And this is my second shawl that I've knit. And what else can I tell you? Oh, okay, so it was also supposed to have like a sort of picot bind off on this edge, the long pointy edge, but I decided not to do that, partly because I don't think that it would really suit my mother-in-law. I think that she would prefer something with a plain edge, but also partly because I was a little bit worried about running out of yarn. It said to knit until you had 25 milligrams? Grams. 25 grams left. But my problem is that I've got a new scale now, which is really nice, but I had a mechanical scale and I don't think it was that accurate because it just kept telling me it was the same weight the whole time even though I'd used more, so I just didn't trust it, so I was a little bit worried about running out. But in the end it was fine and I'm very happy with the size and how it came out. And this was made with a 100 gram in, oh, I should tell you what yarn it was. It is the, I bought the Billum yarn in the Sip Sip range, which is 100% merino and it's in a fingering weight, and I bought that at the Edinburgh Yarn Festival, so I'm very happy with that. Okay, so that is my only finished object for this week, so on to whips. I have not worked on my 2 socks that I cast on last week. It's just crazy. So those 2 pairs of socks, which is the purple Rose City Rollers, I started 1 sock of that one, and the I'm doing blue the vanilla latte socks, and those obviously sitting in my suitcase, which is going to fly to South Africa, so I haven't finished those. I've got the yarn and the needles and everything, I'm taking it across, but I haven't worked any more on those. I was just in a mad dash to get the shawl finished so that everything was ready, and now this week I've been a little bit all over the place with trying to get ready for going overseas, so making sure I've got everything and everything's packed. And also because I'm applying for my visa, it's not like I'm just going on holiday. Like, I have to make sure I've got all the right documents, like my marriage certificate and everything, and we got to have photos proving our relationship and that sort of thing. So it's a lot of finding other things and making sure I've got everything in order before I go. Otherwise my husband's gonna have to like courier it across or something. It's just gonna be a mission. And obviously I want to apply as soon as possible, because the sooner I apply, the sooner they will hopefully approve me, and then I can be back here with my husband, because I'm really not looking forward to spending so long away from him. Alright, yes, so one of the things I've been knitting on, and I'm not really sure why I picked it up again, but anyway, I'm not actually sure if I've shown this on this podcast at all, actually. This is a jersey. It's the very first jersey that I've ever started knitting, and it's a jersey which I've started for myself, and I started it before I started the podcast, and then I put it down because I had all those presents that I had to make for South Africa, so I think I just didn't bother knitting it. But then with everything else finished, and I had my knitting group on Saturday, and I finished binding off the shawl at the knitting group, and I needed something else to do, so I just grabbed this because it's fairly simple to knit. And I'm almost, this is the back. It's really simple. I decided that I didn't want to do anything super fancy with my very first jersey. I just wanted it to be as simple as possible so that I don't get put off knitting jerseys. And yeah, so this is really simple. It's just a rectangle for the back, rectangle for the front, and then 2 rectangles for the arms, like super simple. I do not actually have the pattern with me now, which is a pattern I found online, but it is linked in my Ravelry projects page if you're interested, and I'll put a link to it in the show notes. But I'm enjoying it. The one thing is that this yarn, I'm using the Drops Alaska mix, and it is 100% wool. One thing that's slightly irritating is that it has had some issues where like some of the yarn has been tied like in knots in certain places, like while I'm working, and other places like it wasn't plied properly, like you can see here, but it's like wasn't plied, and I tried to twist it as I was knitting with it to make it better, but Thankfully this is the back, so hopefully it won't bother me too much. But also the thing is, like, having watched so many podcasts and seeing everyone else's beautiful jerseys where they do like raglan shaping or whatever, and like really beautiful cardigans, then I'm feeling like this is going to be too simple, but I'm like, nope, let's just knit it, finish it, and then move on to something more complicated. So yep, that is that. But yeah, I'm not going to knit on this until I come back from South Africa. Oops. Then I bought some yarn for knitting socks on the plane. So the flight from London to South Africa is 12 hours. So I've got, I think, about an hour and a half, 2 hours from Edinburgh to London, then I have a layover, and then I've got 12 hours from London to Cape Town in South Africa. So I decided that I need to knit some socks. I've never taken needles on a plane before, but I'm trying. So I just went to a local department store called John Lewis. I know it's kind of all over the UK. And I just bought, like, they had some really cheap circular needles, so I bought some of those, because I thought I wanted them to be cheap on the off chance that I do have the needles taken away from me at security. Then I don't want to feel like I've lost out on something. So I bought this yarn. Oops, sorry for reaching. I bought this yarn. This one's still attached. I bought this, and it is the Heart and Soul by Sodar, and the colorway is 164, and it's called Find Your Sea Legs. Ooh, dear. So these are the beautiful sort of Delft-esque type things. Should have had a bit more white to be really Delft, but I like it anyway. So the reason I actually chose this is I wanted something that kind of looked like Delft, because the recipient I know really likes Delft and she likes wearing blue, so I thought that that would be good. So that's what I'm getting, and this is how it's knitting up so far. So I've just started my cuffs because ribbing is more complicated and you got to think a little bit or whatever. So I just wanted, also when I go through security, I want to have something already on the needles, so that if they say, oh, what is this, I can say, well, it's for knitting, look, I'm busy knitting. So I didn't want to cast on the airplane, and also it's easier to knit once I've done the cuffs. And I put both cuffs on because even if I don't finish both socks, even if I only do one on the plane, I do suffer from second sock syndrome. So even though I bought one needle to take on the plane, so that if it does get taken away I don't lose too much, I cast on the other one just to like give myself that extra sort of head start to hopefully not get second sock syndrome. So I really like how it's knitting up. And I bought these little point protectors or stitch stoppers, whatever you want to call them. Not because I actually need them. I have never had a problem with my socks so far of them slipping off the needles. I've never had a problem. I just kind of push it back to here and they don't come off. But I thought that going through security, maybe having these cute little rubber stoppers would make my needles look less like deadly weapons and more like cute crafty things. So yeah, that's why I have these. And my delightful friend in South Africa told me that they look like little toads. And here is how it's working up. And the little pink poops. My pink toads. So yes. And this I'm gonna just knit Mina's vanilla sock pattern. And this is the first time I'm actually working on 2.25mm needles. I did actually look for my usual 2.5, but they didn't have. They had 2.25 and they had 2.75, so I just went with 2.25. And so far I haven't even had to adjust my stitch count. I was really worried. I thought I would have to. It kind of made sense, you know, working with smaller needles you'd need more stitches, but I knit up a little swatch quickly to see, and I measured it against one of my other socks, and I think I might need more rows, but I don't need more stitches. So that's fine. And that's it for this. And then for sort of needle adjacent projects, I'm having some ideas about my dad's scarf. So he originally asked for a black and orange scarf with stripes, so black with orange stripes, because he has like a really luminescent orange rain jacket, and so he wanted it to sort of match. And I was thinking about it, and then suddenly I just got carried away with everything, and I thought, how cool would it to be to do sort of like Fair Isle-ish type pattern where you go, so I'll have orange at the two ends, so they'll start in the beginning, start in the end, and then in the middle will be black, and then in between we'll have like a gradient sort of fade Fair Isle pattern. So I must try and look for a pattern, otherwise I'll try and make something up, because that shouldn't be too hard. But I'm actually quite excited about that, so I asked my dad if he would mind if I did that instead, and he seems quite keen for it. My only thing is that then the back of the scarf will have floats. But since I'm going to be there when I knit it, I'm going to be living with my parents when I knit it, I thought I'll just knit it up like that, and then I will show it to him, and if he wants I can just put in like a fleece lining or something, or not fleece? Yeah, fleece, whatever. I can put in a lining for him if he wants. So, because when I spoke to him, he was like, oh no, putting in the lining sounds like so much effort. I was like, Dad, compared to knitting a Fair Isle scarf, sewing in the lining is not an issue at all. It'll take me like half an afternoon even, like, I'm not sure. Anyway, so that was quite funny. But anyway, so that's my plans for my dad's scarf, and I'm actually quite excited about it. I've never really knit Fair Isle before. I made up one pattern for myself, which was like a little maple leaf motif, and I did that, and that was very cute, and I liked it. But I've never actually knit like a garment or anything, or I know it's scarf is more of an accessory, but I've never actually knit something wearable with sort of Fair Isle. I'm a little bit nervous about my tension with the floats not being right, but I thought with a scarf to practice it's easier because you don't have to, like, it's not like a sock where you have to like fit it on your leg or anything, because for those of you who don't know, if you don't do well, doing Fair Isle makes it less stretchy, so you gotta do your floats right, otherwise it's not gonna fit. So yeah, that is my sort of plans for the future knitting, and we are now on to acquisitions. So when I went out to go buy this yarn, my mom knows the recipient, so I was busy asking her what she thinks. I'm not telling you who it is just in case the person watches, although they probably do, and they probably have already figured out it's them, which is not really an issue. But anyway, oops, sorry, kicking the camera. So anyway, while I was there, my mom saw some of the other yarn, and she was like, oh my goodness, she would like some. So for her, because she's got two other friends who she wants, so I bought this one, which is also Heart and Soul, and this one is 161. Here is this lovely Heart and Soul color. It really does look like candy. Okay, so this is the one which it kind of, my mom had wanted me, there was a drop sale on recently, and she had wanted me to get one which I think it was called Candy or something. It was a drops print sock, and this kind of reminded me of the same colors, so I suggested to her that she try this one. And I'm going to be knitting the socks, but I don't mind, I love knitting socks. If she wants to pay for the yarn and I'll knit the socks, I'm happy. And then this is another one which I actually looked for the colorway and I couldn't find it online, but this is a Regia design line by K Facet, and I really like it. I love the colors, they're so cute and soft and lovely. Here is the Regia design, K Facet design line. I actually was really lucky, I got to go see a talk by K Facet in South Africa. It's beautiful. These are my colors. So that is what I bought. I suppose this is part of my stash. Yes, part of my stash. So I'm going to be knitting those up in South Africa, which is exciting. And lastly, for my acquisitions, I have some sewing acquisitions. And so I have sort of found that it's probably just that I know in Cape Town where the best priced material is sold, or fabric. Like I know where the cheaper shops are, or the shops that sell stuff on sales often. So I found buying material or fabric in South Africa or Cape Town much cheaper than buying it here. But it's probably just that I don't know where is the best place to find stuff. But anyway, so at first I kept thinking, oh, I would love to bring some fabric back with me when I go to South Africa. But I still have a lot of clothes that I left in South Africa that I want to bring back. And I have books. And I'm going to want to bring presents. And I'm going to want to bring yarn. And to be quite honest, fabric can weigh quite a lot when you get, so you can get a lot of yarn and it doesn't weigh that much. You're more worried about space just squishing it in. But with fabric, it can be quite a lot heavier. So I decided instead that I would buy some patterns while I was here, and then buy the fabric and actually sew up the garments in South Africa. Since I'm going to be there for a couple of months, I should have time. And then bring the garments back with me. So I ordered some patterns, and I ordered from New Look because I am not a very good seamstress. I have sewn a couple of dresses for myself, and lately the most recent ones have been really good and I've been really happy to wear them out, but I've only ever sewn a couple of things, like garments, that I've actually been like happy wearing outside of the house and that sort of thing. So I am very much a beginner. So I went and bought the New Look range of patterns because I have used them before and I found them very easy for as a beginner to understand and to follow. So this is the first one that I got, and I really like the way this is. Whoops, shiny. And then I got this one. And for these two, I'm not sure what kind of fabric I'm going to use. I was thinking probably either a very thick cotton or a linen or a very thin wool, but in South Africa, because it's so hot, they don't stock that sort of stuff very much. So I think I might find linen. I'm not sure that I will find thin wool or thick cotton, but I will be on the lookout to find something, because I want something that I can sort of wear sort of in summer in Scotland, or in spring and autumn with like a cardigan and some leggings or something. So those are my plans for that. And then this one will be made out of like a jersey knit type fabric, and so that'll be fine, and that'll be nice and warm with like leggings and a jersey and what have you. So that I'm very happy for, very excited. So yeah, so you can expect some sewing from me in South Africa, which I'm very excited about. I haven't been able to sew since I got here. Not that I've brought my sewing machine and everything, so in South Africa I'm gonna have to use my mom's sewing machine, but I just haven't got around to it. With trying to make all the presents and everything and settling into our new house, I just haven't got around to sewing. So on to needleless chatter. So my husband, I told you last time that he came up with, what was it? Oh, now watch me knit, now watch me crochet. Well, the one for this week has been, okay, I've got to read it, otherwise I'm going to get it wrong. Put your knit down, flip it and purl it, which is obviously a play on put your thing down, flip it and reverse it. So I thought that was actually quite funny, because you know, you reverse your knitting and then purl it if you're doing stockinette. Anyway, didn't really need to explain that to you. That was quite funny. But yes, so for going back to South Africa for quite a while, I've got into a bit of a flap, because I'm a very anxious person and I get into a flap. I don't know if getting into a flap is actually like a saying, but I'll tell you what I picture when I say that. So my darling gran, who taught me to knit, and I told you about her marmalade last time, she had chickens when I was growing up. She doesn't anymore, but when I was growing up she had chickens, and I don't know if she clipped their wings to stop them sort of flying and getting into the neighbor's property, or if they just couldn't really fly, but they could maybe get like a meter off the ground. And sometimes they would get spooked by something. Something would happen, a noise would happen, and they would just get freaked out, and they'd start like running around, flapping their wings, and kind of careering off in all sort of directions, and every now and again they'd sort of like jump and get a bit of air and then kind of crash down again. That's what I imagine when I say I'm going into a bit of a flap. I'm like a chicken trying to fly. So yes, not that I've been spooked by anything, but just trying to get everything organized and sorted, and I feel like I'm very much in denial. Not in denial, but I'm trying to ignore the fact that I'm not going to be seeing my husband for so long, because otherwise I'm just not going to cope if I think about it. So I'm just pretending that he's coming with me, even though he's not. Yes, speaking of my grandmother, I have decided what would be really cool for my podcast is that since I'm going to South Africa and she lives in South Africa, I am going to ask her if she would be comfortable with me interviewing her for one of my following podcasts. So I'll just ask her some questions about how she started knitting and what she likes to knit and what she has knit and what she finds challenging, that sort of thing. I thought it would be a cool thing since she is my inspiration. She taught me to knit, and I've always looked up to her as like the most amazing knitter in the world. Yeah, so I just thought that would be a nice thing to do for my podcast. And sort of finally, I am a bit late on the whole Harry Potter bandwagon. To be very honest, my dad read the first book to me, and I think I might have read the second book to myself. And then I've watched the movies, but I actually really want to go and read the books. And my husband has the books, but they're all in South Africa, so I'm going to have to go digging through our boxes of books and find them. Because I've noticed in the knitting community, Harry Potter is quite a big deal. And also because my husband loves them, I thought I should give it another go and read them properly. But in the meantime, I decided to make an account on Pottermore and do the test and find out. I did like a whole bunch of the tests, but I found out my house and I found out my Patronus and my wand. So I did and then my husband also did the test. So I did the test and I'm a Hufflepuff. And when I got it, I was like, a Hufflepuff? I'm not a Hufflepuff. Like, I was expecting maybe like a Ravenclaw or something, because I love studying. Like, when I went to university, I was the most dedicated student. I didn't go out and party all night. I just like lived in the library because I love studying and I love writing essays and that sort of thing. So I was like, no, I should have been a Ravenclaw. So I like said to my husband, oh my goodness, I got Hufflepuff. My husband's like, yeah, that makes sense. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, it's because you haven't read the books. If you read the books, you'd know. You're a Hufflepuff. I was like, okay, fine, I'm a Hufflepuff. And he got Slytherin. So I don't know what that says. And then for my Patronus, it was a hare. I remember that, like a bunny, a hare. But I think it was the March hare or something. Wait a minute, it's on my phone. My phone's not here. I will be back. Oops. Keep kicking everything. And the sun's decided to come out finally. Screenshots. Oh, mountain hare. I've got a mountain hare. There we go. You can't really see. That's pretty. And that's my Hufflepuff. I'm a Hufflepuff. And then I screenshotted my wand, so I can tell you my wand as well. I got an ebony wood with phoenix feather core, 14.5 inches, slightly springy, flexibility. So yes, that's what I got. And my husband got a wolf for his Patronus, so the wolf and the hare, the Slytherin and the Hufflepuff. So yes, so that's my little yellow clips representing Hufflepuff. Actually, now that I posted on Instagram saying that I was a Hufflepuff, and then some other Hufflepuff accounts, like some accounts dedicated to like Hufflepuff things started following me, and they or liked it, and then I started following them. And oh, okay, I'm actually gonna tell you about this one. If you're a Hufflepuff and you really like Hufflepuff things, then there's this account that you should follow, because I just love it. I really love it. I get excited every time they post and I want to go read it, because she actually does, like, she takes really nice pictures and then she writes like a whole story, and it literally sounds like, what's going on? It literally sounds like it is a like a quote from a book, but I'm pretty sure she just makes them up herself. So I think it is amazing. So you should definitely try when my phone decides to tell me. It's called Happiest Hufflepuff. So if you just search Happiest Hufflepuff on Instagram, can't really see that. But anyway, yeah, my pictures aren't loading. There we go. Happiest Hufflepuff, and if you search that, it is amazing. I love this account. The latest one. Okay, so the latest one is just like a picture of like a cross or whatever, but the writing is in Slytherin / Hufflepuff friendships, the Slytherin would be like, yo homie, hit me up with those baked goods, because the Hufflepuffs are like right next to the kitchen, you know, and the Hufflepuff being like, alright fam, I got you, but only if you sneak me into your common room to play intense board games with the rest of your house. So I just love it. So anyway, if you are a Hufflepuff person, go check them out, because I just love their account. So yes, I am warming to the fact that I am a Hufflepuff, and I think I'm going to try and embrace my inner Hufflepuff more. Yes, so I think that is it for this week. I'm sorry if it's short or long or haphazard or crazy, because I'm feeling kind of crazy at the moment. But next time, oh, and happy Easter, guys! Yes, I'm totally forgetting. I can't believe I totally forgot. It's Easter. Happy Easter. I actually had like a little knitted chick that I wanted to show you for the Easter episode, but I can't find it. I was convinced that I brought it across with me. My gran made it for me as an Easter present one year, and I literally can't find it. So I wrote to my mom and asked, well, I wrote to my mom, I sound so archaic. I Skyped my mom and I asked her to please ask my gran to make me some more little knitted chicks, if she still remembers how, because she is getting a bit old. But anyway, it was such a cute little knitted chick, and now I can't find it. I'm really unhappy. So I would have shown you that this week, but I can't because I don't know where it is. But yes, so I hope that you enjoy all of your chocolate goodies, and if you are religious, I hope that you enjoy this special time where you remember the religious things that happened at this time. But there's no religious podcast, so I'm not going to go on about that. But yes, happy Easter, and if you are totally anti-religious, happy long weekend holidays. And yeah, next time I speak to you, I will be coming from South Africa. Bye bye!
Koo is going on holiday with Diana, and you might have thought that this would make me jealous, as though I wish I was going with Diana. But I am not jealous, because I am proud that Diana has chosen me to hold the fort while she is away. I will be looking after all the Yarny stash and making sure that there are no moths or any thievery going on, and that is because Koo is a reckless cow, and he could not be trusted with this great responsibility. So I am proud to stay and guard the Yarny stash, while Koo goes away on his silly holiday and completely neglects all of his responsibilities.
And so she taught me the recipe, and I made it once or twice, but every time I made it, the bees would come. The thing is that in South Africa it's really hot a lot of the time, and when I was making it, it was hot, and so I had all the windows and doors open because you're busy working over boiling pot, and it's really hot, so you have all the windows and doors open, and then the bees started coming inside. So I literally, I ran to the other side of the house and locked myself in there, or closed the door so that the bees couldn't come. And then I was phoning my grandmother, and I was like, Granny, what do I do? There's